Somewhere far beneath the surface of a warm and endless sea, past the last golden ribbons of sunlight, there is a cove where the water grows still, and soft and slow, and where time itself seems to curl up and rest. The light there is the color of a quiet dream, a gentle blue that glows without ever being bright, and if you listen closely, you can hear the smallest whisper of water moving over stone, over coral, over sand as fine as powdered pearl. This is a place that has always been waiting for someone tired to find it. Tonight, that someone is you. Let yourself sink into this feeling now. There is nowhere else you need to be, and nothing else you need to do. You do not have to remember any of this in the morning. You only have to let your shoulders soften, let your breath grow long and unhurried, and let your mind follow this gentle blue light down, down, into the quiet cove below the waves. Take a slow breath in and let it out even more slowly. Feel your body grow heavy and warm, sinking into whatever is holding you right now, whether that is a bed, a couch, or a soft nest of blankets. There is no current here that can pull you anywhere you do not wish to go. The sea tonight is calm, and it wants only to hold you gently, the way still water holds a falling leaf, easing it down without a splash. If you would like, dim the light beside you now, or let your eyes soften and close. Let the sound of my voice become like the sound of faraway waves, something you can follow but never have to work to understand. Nothing important will happen quickly tonight. Nothing needs your attention. You may drift in and out as you like, and you will not miss anything, because this cove will still be here, glowing softly whenever your mind returns to it. So let us go there together now, gently, the way a tide comes in, without ever announcing itself. The entrance to the cove is a wide arch of pale coral, rounded smooth by centuries of water passing through it, over and over, in no particular hurry. On the other side of that arch, the sea opens into a round chamber of stone and coral, and the light inside is a soft, glowing blue, as though the whole cove has been filled with liquid moonlight. This light does not come from any single place. It seems to rise gently from the sand itself, and glow faintly from the ridges of coral along the walls, the way a nightlight glows in a child's room, comforting and low and constant. The water inside the cove is warmer than the open sea, warmed slowly by hidden currents that curl in from far below, currents too gentle to ever be called anything but soothing. It moves the way warm bath water moves when you shift your legs beneath it, a slow, round motion that never rushes and never startles. Little threads of light ripple across the sandy floor, tracing soft patterns that shift and reshape themselves without any real pattern at all. Only softness, only ease. Along the walls of the cove, coral grows in gentle curves and folds, colored in muted rose, pale lavender, the softest sea green, colors that seem to have been chosen for how quietly they sit against the blue light, rather than how boldly they stand out. Some of the coral looks like slow blooming flowers, frozen mid-opening. Some looks like the folds of a soft blanket, draped loosely across the stone. None of it is sharp. None of it asks to be noticed. It simply exists there, patient and unhurried, the way a garden exists through a long winter, waiting without worry for whatever comes next. Small fish move through the water in loose, drifting groups, their scales catching the blue light and turning it, for just a moment, into flashes of soft gold or pale silver, or the gentle orange of a sunset seen through closed eyelids. They do not dart with any urgency. They glide the way falling leaves glide on a still autumn afternoon, tilting slightly this way and then that way, following currents too soft to see. A few larger fish drift near the coral, striped in muted blues and creams, moving their fins slowly, unhurried, as though even they know this is a place built for resting rather than for hurrying anywhere at all. If you listen closely, beneath the soft hush of water moving over stone, you might hear the faint, distant clicking of something small, tapping gently against a shell, the kind of sound that repeats every few moments, and then fades again, patient and rhythmic, like a slow and gentle heartbeat somewhere deep in the cove. There is no need to know what makes this sound. It is simply part of the cove's breathing, part of its slow, endless hush, The sand along the floor of the cove is fine and pale, the colour of moonlight on snow, and it shifts in slow, soft waves wherever the gentle current touches it, forming ripples that look almost like the folds of a quilt smoothed out by a careful hand. Here and there, small shells rest half buried in that sand, spiraled and pale, and near one wall of the cove, a cluster of soft green seagrass sways in slow unison, bending together and then straightening again, over and over, a patient rhythm with no beginning and no end. The water itself carries a faint scent, if such a thing were possible to notice this, deep beneath the waves, something like salt and cool stone and the clean, mineral hush of a place untouched by wind or weather. It is the smell of stillness. It is the smell of a room that has been kept quiet for a very long time, waiting patiently for someone to finally rest inside it. And so the cove waits, glowing softly, breathing slowly, holding its warm and gentle water the way cupped hands hold something small and precious. It has been here for longer than anyone could count, and it will be here long after tonight is over, patient and blue and unhurried, exactly as it is right now. It is here, in this soft blue quiet, that a mermaid makes her home. She does not have a name that matters tonight, only a presence, gentle and unhurried, the kind of presence that seems to belong entirely to this place. Her tail is the color of deep sea green, fading into soft silver at its edges, and it moves through the water the way a ribbon moves through still air, without effort, without resistance, simply following the same slow rhythm the whole cove seems to breathe by. She spends her evenings drifting slowly along the coral walls, trailing her fingers lightly across the smooth ridges, feeling the soft texture of stone worn round by centuries of water. She is not looking for anything. She is not going anywhere in particular. She moves the way someone moves through a familiar house in the dark, comfortable, unbothered, needing no light to know exactly where the next gentle turn will be. Tonight, she drifts toward the far side of the cove, where a small pool of sand rests, undisturbed beneath a low arch of coral. She lowers herself there slowly, letting her tail curl beneath her, and watches as a small school of fish drifts past, tracing lazy circles in the blue light. One curious little fish, no larger than her thumb, silver and faintly striped, pauses near her outstretched hand, hovering there in the water as though deciding whether to stay. She does not reach for it. She simply lets her hand rest open and still, and after a moment the little fish drifts closer, resting for just a breath against her palm before gliding gently away again, unhurried, as if it had simply wanted to say a quiet hello before continuing on its way. She smiles, the way someone smiles when nothing in particular has happened, only something small and warm and pleasant. This is how most of her evenings pass, in small, quiet moments like this one, moments that ask nothing of her and give her everything she needs. She does not measure her days by anything urgent. She measures them by the slow opening of certain coral blossoms at dusk, by the gentle warming of the current when it curls in from deeper water, by the soft clicking of the small shelled creatures that live along the cove floor, tapping their quiet rhythm again and again. She drifts further along the wall, past a cluster of pale anemones that sway gently, their soft tendrils opening and closing in slow unison, the way a hand might open and close slowly around something warm. Further still, near the back of the cove, a narrow crevice opens into a smaller chamber, one she visits often, though never for any particular reason, other than that it is quiet there, and dim, and safe. Inside, resting on a small shelf of stone, is a collection of things she has gathered over a long, long time. A smooth, round pearl, pale as the moon, a curved piece of pink coral, worn soft by the tide, a small shell shaped like a spiral staircase, so tiny it could rest inside a single fingertip. She holds none of these things because she needs them. She keeps them because each one reminds her of a particular evening, a particular hour of gentle water and soft light the way some people keep small stones from favorite walks, or pressed flowers from favorite afternoons. Tonight she lifts the pale pearl gently, turning it slowly in her palm, watching the blue light catch along its smooth curve, and then she sets it back down exactly where it was, content simply to have held it for a moment. Outside the small chamber, the greater cove continues its slow breathing, water curling gently along the walls, fish drifting in loose, unhurried patterns, the whole space glowing softly the way it always does, patient and blue and endlessly calm. She drifts back out into that open water, feeling it hold her the way it always has, warm and slow and familiar, and she lets herself simply float there for a while, weightless, unbothered, exactly the way the whole cove seems to want everyone within it to feel. The water moves, and she moves with it, and the coral sways, and the fish glide, and the light glows softly, and nothing here is ever in a hurry. The water moves, and she moves with it, drifting slowly past the pale rose coral, and the fish glide on, unhurried, and the light glows on, soft and blue and endless. The water moves, gentle and warm, and she lets it carry her a little further, past the swaying seagrass, past the quiet anemones, and the current hums its same slow hum, over and over, patient and low. Above her, tiny threads of light ripple across the surface of the cove's ceiling, soft reflections of the blue glow bending and rebending in slow, lazy patterns. She watches them drift the way someone watches clouds from a warm and quiet field, without needing them to mean anything at all. The threads of light shift and settle and shift again, slow and slower and slower still. Somewhere nearby, the small clicking sound continues, patient and steady, tap, and then a pause, and then tap again, the quiet rhythm of the cove's own gentle heartbeat. The seagrass sways and bends and straightens and sways again, the same soft motion, over and over, a rhythm with no beginning and no end. The fish drift past in slow, unhurried circles, turning gently, catching the light, turning again, circling low, circling wide, circling soft. She lets her eyes close for a moment, floating there in the warm water, feeling the current hold her the way gentle hands hold something small and precious. The water moves, and she moves with it. The light glows, and she glows faintly within it. The coral sways, and she sways with it too, small and slow, the whole cove breathing together in one long, unhurried rhythm. Further along the cove wall, a single strand of pale coral catches a passing current and bends, slowly, and straightens, slowly, and bends again, slowly, the way a curtain moves in a room with the window only barely open. The blue light catches its edge and softens it further, smoothing every line into something rounder, gentler, quieter. Nothing here needs to be sharp. Nothing here needs to be loud. Everything simply exists, softly, in its own slow time. The mermaid drifts nearer to the sandy floor now, letting her tail settle gently against the cool, fine sand, watching small ripples form and fade around her. Form and fade, the same slow rhythm repeating itself endlessly, patient and warm and unbothered by time. Somewhere above, faint threads of moonlight filter down from the surface far, far away, so soft and so distant they barely reach this deep, gentle place, only enough to add the faintest silver hush to the blue glow all around her. The water moves, and she moves with it. The light glows, and she rests within it. The coral sways, and the fish drift, and the small-shelled creatures click their slow rhythm, and everything continues on exactly as it always has, unhurried and soft and endlessly, endlessly calm. The light is dimmer now, softer, slower. The water barely moves at all. She rests near the sandy floor, tail curled gently beneath her, eyes half closed, feeling the last small ripples of the current pass over her skin like a slow breath and then fade. The fish have gone quiet. Only a few remain, drifting low, barely moving, their fins folded soft against their sides. The coral has stopped swaying. It rests now, still and pale and gently glowing, the way a room rests once every lamp has been turned down low. Somewhere far away, the small clicking sound has slowed. Tap, a long, quiet pause. Tap, an even longer pause after that. The seagrass no longer bends. It simply leans softly to one side and stays there, resting. She lets her breathing slow to match the water around her. In, a long, quiet pause. Out, an even longer pause after that. The blue light dims further, only a soft glow now, low along the sand, low along the coral, low along the curve of her folded tail. Everything is quiet, everything is still, everything, everywhere, is settling gently into rest. The cove is almost silent now. Only the faintest hush of water remains, so soft it could almost be mistaken for nothing at all. The mermaid rests near the sandy floor, weightless, warm, her eyes closed, her tail curled loosely beneath her, and the cove holds her the way it has always held her, gently, patiently, without asking anything of her at all. The light continues to soften, blue fading into a deeper, quieter blue. The coral rests in its stillness. The fish rest in theirs. The small clicking sound has faded into nothing, folded quietly into the deeper hush beneath it. The seagrass leans, unmoving, soft shadows against softer stone. Somewhere far above, the surface of the sea rests too, calm and unbroken beneath a sky too distant to matter tonight. Here, in the cove, there is only this: warm water, soft light, slow breathing. Nothing more needs to happen. Nothing more needs to be said. The cove simply rests, glowing faintly, breathing slowly, the way it always has, the way it always will. Patient and blue and endlessly still. And here, in this same soft quiet, you can rest too. Nothing more needs to happen. Nothing more needs to be said. Only this. Only stillness. Only sleep.